guys, it's Peggy Kaczynski. I retired early from my 20-something career as a sportscaster, covering the Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks, the Cubs, the White Sox, and really every other college and high school team in Chicago. So what do you do after that? Well, you start a podcast. That's what I did with my teenage son, Jason. And the result is The Sportscaster and Her Son. Yes, I'm the baby boomer, a mom. We don't get along. We don't have a lot in common, but we both share a love for sports. And we always have great sports conversation. Even better, our guests in the interviews. So come check us out. We're on Podbean and the Barroom Network, or really wherever you get your audio. The Sportscaster and Her Son podcast. See you there.
Every time.
Yeah, man, that was pretty fire right there, man. Shout out to the network. Shout out to the network.
Stampede, bro. It's called a Stampede. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to See You Red Radio, powered by Freedom Games, brought to you ultimately by the Bear Barroom Network. Brother J.E., Game 6. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Doing wonderful. It's definitely a good time right now to be from Chicago, you know, especially when it comes on the basketball scene. Man, I'm fired up, man. I'm still taking away from that the Sportscaster and Her Son. I'm looking forward to that right there, man. That was pretty dope, yeah, isn't it? This is like, who wouldn't want to plug into that? Who wouldn't want to plug into that?
I want to hear how the conversation go. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to go. It's an interesting dynamic. It's good.
Shout out to Miss Peggy for sure.
But yeah, Miss Peggy, that's awesome. I love that, man. But we're here to talk the Bulls, bro.
We're going to talk some Bulls, bro. After the Golden State tried to put us to bed early and take us out of basketball hopes and dreams, we had some hard-fought battles against the Suns and Utah. And some good fought battles, but just wasn't enough to get over the top. But then we punched the Brooklyn Nets in the mouth to snap a 6-game losing streak. Okay, we had guys step up across the board. Let's just go back to the first win, because we know we got the Toronto Raptors tonight. We are favored to win that matchup, and that is a key game as they are right behind us in the standings. The win against the Indiana Pacers put us in pace to take control of that. But let's start with the Brooklyn Nets. We know they didn't have KD. We know they didn't have Harden, but they still had Irving. But I saw phenomenal teamwork. The Bulls really took control in the second quarter and never gave it back. But in the fourth quarter, Zach showed up. Baby J, what you got?
Oh man, actually was pleasantly surprised, because I know last week we had talked about, you know, their encounter with the Jazz and the Nets. It's like, look out below. You know, let's focus on this week coming up, not the weekend, right? And you see, like, they actually held their own against the Jazz. I believe it was like they only lost by 7 points, and then they upset the Nets, even though it was a home game. You know, because even without, you know, James Harden and Kevin Durant, you know, the Nets are still lethal. You know, so but you know, the solid center play, solid guard play, and his solid team play overall. You know, the Bulls are definitely surging right now. I got it pulled up. Like Zach LaVine, he had 25 points. You know, and he was like almost like 50% shooting that day. And what I love about Zach, man, he's very solid. Like, he's one of the top like 4 or 5 shooting guards in the league. You know, he's top 4 in PER, but he's I believe he's second in scoring behind Donovan Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he's second in scoring behind shooting guards. But he's just crushing it right now. PER, and just also just minutes, but most importantly, field goal percentage. You know, I think Joey Ingles is only shooting better than him from three from the shooting guard position, if that's correct. It's either 3-point percentage or overall field goal percentage. But he's shooting at a very efficient rate, and like he's one of the top scorers in the league. You combine that with what Nicola's doing, man. Solid double every night, and then you're getting like you talked about, you know, before we got live with Patrick Williams and Lord Marketing doing his thing off the bench, and we're seeing some rise and play. You know, our favorite guy, man, Sadaransky, right? We love saying his name, but a lot to take away. He had a big game that day, 19 points. But you know, it's definitely an outlook for the future right now because beating the Pacers, like you talked about, bro, that actually like put us in a game and a half, like behind them. You know, we're currently, I believe we're 10th right now. Are we 10th in the East? So we're right behind. So we're still in playing mode right now. And the way we're playing right now, we're actually, you know, if we take care of Toronto, take care of business, you know, we should definitely make a push for that AFC. Honestly, what do you think?
And so, Jay, you touched on a lot right there, and we can break it down. When you were talking about how lethal Zach has been, how better do you think Zach is doing now that he has all this offensive help? Because when you have Vooch coming in and getting 3-pointers, fadeaways, post-ups, and all these other things that Vooch is able to, you have three other guys creating their shots on their own. How much is that a relief for Zach? Zach has been getting numbers, but the Bulls are starting to win because they're playing football. They're still playing basketball, in the fourth quarter when it matters because the Nets try to come back. Kyrie Irving wasn't letting it go.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
But how much of an impact do you think these new additions are helping Zach stay fresh throughout the course of a game as he nurses back this ankle to 100%?
I mean, it's definitely uplifting, you know, because prior to this 2-game win streak, we were on a 6-game losing streak. You know, so Zach LaVine, he was going to get his numbers regardless, but it's like being able to it was a big move, just like really just strengthening our, you know, our low post presence, you know, our in the paint presence, because I love Laurie Marketing. He is a great player, great talent. What Thaddeus Young is doing, he provides some veteran experience, but like that all-star. I know they talk on other networks about like teams that are legit, you know, threats or contenders at the very least. They normally have like a big man and a shooting guard who are typically on the same level in terms of talent. And you have that in like Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, you know. So like you have that pairing right there, and then the other pieces are coming into play. And I still feel that we're one piece away, but like that's awesome because it's still Billy Donovan's first year as our head coach, and we're like one piece away from like, you know, he's already off to a good start if we make the playoffs this year because we're gonna be better next year. So it's just like the Bulls are gonna be more relevant, and again, this is gonna attract a big free agent. You know, I know we've been talking about Lonzo, D Rose making a potential moves back here, and we'll touch on that later on, but yeah, man, like it's definitely a big charge for LaVine, for the entire team. You see other players stepping up. You talk about Sadaransky, man. Thaddeus Young is actually a guy that's been emerging for sure, like just holding down the fort from the 4 spot, and then Patrick Williams. You got some key players.
Sadaransky, he's been playing some good hustle ball. Reminds me of kind of Kurt Heinrich. He's getting the steals, Jay. He's not afraid to get the steal, then take it up himself. Then we saw Kobe White. Then we saw Kobe White come back, but they got my man Sadaransky right there. We saw Kobe White come back and then make some great steals himself and some key shots in the Pacers game. But this guy Sadaransky, this guy has heart. I mean, he's 29 years old, but I want to say he's a special player because I'm looking at the guy and he just reminds you of a guy heart and muscle. Like, do you remember that Taj Gibson type player, hard hat and lunch pail? Stacey King's always talk about. That's what Sadaransky remind me of. The guy willing to do the dirty work. And on every championship team, on every playoff team, you got to have a guy who's not scared to get his hands dirty. Yeah. And he's in there doing that. He's in there ripping those balls out. But then Jordan, he can take it to the rack himself. Then he's taking it to the rack.
I love that right there. No, shout out to Rob right there. You know what I'm saying? Rob G in the building. You're absolutely right about that. D Rose will be nice because even with Tomas doing this thing, you know, he's a piece of the puzzle. He's not a multiplying piece. If that makes sense. Every team, every organization, they have people to play their roles. Like Zach LaVine is a multiplier. Nicole's a multiplier. They make the players around them better. Satoransky, like he just plays his role. He doesn't make the players worse around him, but he plays his heart. He does what it takes to not lose the game for the team. But in order for us to we're coming into the age of like the Brooklyn Nets. And you know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, man, like we're gonna need more than like that to really compete. So that's when we talk about the Derrick Rose for just that veteran scoring, so we can get that scoring down pat. We're already playing good defense, but like man, being able to have that point guard that can do it all. You see what the Clippers are doing. We can get all that with like the Derrick with like Satoransky, Derrick Rose, and Alonzo Ball at the very least. Like a triple head sword, but I think we will become a major threat with those simple moves right there. We become a major threat in the East.
Brother, and just to give you a couple of things that I've been hearing today, I've been hearing moves about Chris Paul.
That'd be lovely.
Would the Bulls be automatic contenders with a Chris Paul?
Yes.
Potentially Bulls are looking at trades, not the Bulls, but speculations about Karl Anthony Towns to the Bulls. And so all of these different things, it seems like a veteran point guard or another dominant down low, baby, like you said. And I agree with you, bro. That one key player away, but it's good to see our young guys get experience right now because we can talk about Vooch real quick because Nikola, we was liking Nikola in Orlando. We were like Nikola. We was talking about him then a little bit.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
The fact that he's here now, like, bro. Front office. Can we just get a front office a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, man.
Like whatever it takes. This ain't the NFL. I'll give away some more first round picks. This is not the NFL.
Yeah, it's not the NFL. It's not the NFL. So it's just like those college picks. You never know. Like especially in the NBA. I mean, look at those numbers right there. Like what we don't even know when he was drafted. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know what I'm saying? He's like talent is his talent, man. So I actually love like Chris Paul will be the answer. Actually, Chris Paul will win his ring. Actually, like that's what kind of move it will be because like I think it will be similar to what's going on in Phoenix because Zach LaVine and Devin Booker are similar players. Aiden and Nikola, like solid, but I would give the edge to Nikola in terms of just like overall game. But obviously, Aiden is younger. But man, Chris Paul's leadership, he would be all we would need, honestly.
Yeah,
he would be it. Like, but and the thing is, I like any like point guard and Karl Anthony Towns. I'm curious, like. For that even to happen, I already know like Lauri Markkanen is gone. if we don't got Nikola and if we make a Karl Anthony Towns move, it's like really like Lauri Markkanen is gone. It's like we didn't get Nikola just to trade him the next year. Like no, we got to keep him. But I like a veteran
point guard. So a veteran point guard like Chris Paul who can see the whole entire court.
Yeah.
Who can see the court. Like it's funny because Chris Paul is like an NFL quarterback. He throws guys open, Jordan. He lets those guys open, and he could thread a needle and still hit it back himself. Look at that.
Yeah, if we get another shooter with like Chris Paul, yeah, it'll be dangerous.
But going back to Nikola, the fact of the matter is, he had a double against the Pacers. The Pacers, a division rival. And stand the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? That's where it gets even more emotional. So the fact that we stuck it to we didn't beat the Pacers, Jordan. We took it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns gave us everything they had, and we were rocking with them. The Phoenix Suns was like Rocky. They were in the middle of the ring going all out, and the Suns were able to etch it out. But that's what I'm saying. The Bulls got great experience battling those teams in the West. They went against a very good, well-coached team.
Yeah.
We pretty much dominated the Pacers, respectfully. But Nikola, we're talking about 17 rebounds, 5 assists. Oh yeah, 30+ points. 30+ points.
It's good.
But how much does that help Zach's career? Like people forget. I'm going to bring up Derrick Rose real quick. But how much Derrick Rose had to put on his shoulders for so long because he didn't have that much offensive help throughout the entire course. But for Zach to have, who's a young superstar, 25 years old, to have immediate assistance, but also having a good coaching staff where you have guys that are unselfish, looking for the pass, but also guys that are not scared to take it to the rack themselves.
No, it's perfectly said right there, man. I mean, I'm looking at numbers right now. It's just solid, 32 and 17. You know, it's just like when you can get something like that or something close to that, or even something to 80% of that on a consistent basis, it's like you have a lot more certainty, you know, and it's going for, you know, like especially with the Raptors today, I definitely like us like for the win just because I think Kyle Lowry's out, Van Fleet is out, you know what I'm saying? So I think one of their players is also suspended as well. So the only thing that gives me, you know, hesitation is just their front court, and that's with Anunoby and Siakam. But I have comfort in that because of Nikola, you know. But and I have more comfort because there's not a guard on that roster that's going to outplay Zach LaVine. So when you have those two components right there, you're going to contend. That means you're going to win more games than you're going to lose. So this should definitely be a game where the Bulls are going to win. That's why they're their favorite. You know, like a slight edge, which is dope, which is definitely dope. And we can actually look into their upcoming games, man. See what they got going on because we can kind of like
Atlanta, then Minnesota, and so
Minnesota.
Atlanta was 5-5, but they're 5-5.
Atlanta's pretty tough, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough one. But then back to Minnesota, we took care of them boys before.
Yeah, and Minnesota for sure.
That was before the trade. That was before the trade. I think we got to visit with Orlando. But
yeah, yep. That's next week. Perfect.
From your game 6 perspective, what are the fans looking forward to tonight? Like give us some game 6 predictions. Bulls versus Pacers. But now how does that translate to the Bulls versus Toronto tonight as the Bulls are looking to move up in the East?
Well, man, the Bulls, man, I'm going to tell you about the Chicago Bulls real quick. You're over here asking good questions and whatnot, you know. Yeah, so let's have that conversation, or like so. Pretty much with the
double figures in the 4 games since, like, look at that. And supposedly, I don't know if anybody heard about these rookie cards going for like millions of dollars. Patrick Williams might be the next rookie card we might need to invest in.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Like even though like the record doesn't really show everything, guys. Like you know, the Bulls are 21 and 28. They're actually like 27 and 21 against the spread. So that means they're in more games than they're not. You know, so like some of these games that they actually lost, they could have probably won those games. Maybe a possession or two short of covering that. They're actually like see what they've been in the last few games. You know, because they've been scoring like a lot of points. They're 4-1 in their last 5 games, like going against that spread. And you know, I mean, even though they haven't been really strong on the road, but like they're coming off of like they're coming back into the East, like Tyler was saying, like you were saying, man. So like it's some things to look forward to. What's actually favoring the Bulls the most more than anything else is the injuries for the Raptors. You know, because this is what gives you the most confidence because Toronto is scrappy, but like Kyle Lowry being out and like their starting backcourt is not playing today. You know, so we got an advantage here. We got an advantage and we got momentum. Toronto's a decent team, but like they've been up and down. I think we've been more consistent in terms of our defense and just like, you know, who's been scoring. Like we haven't had any like surprise scores. Like, you know, you kind of like, you know, expected, you know, the players that produced to do exactly what they were going to do. And you talked about the Pacers game and even like the Nets game, there weren't any like differences outside of like Satoransky having like shooting at a higher clip for Brooklyn. When it came to the Pacers, you know, it like, you know, Nikola took over more than anything else. And now I think with him canceling out Siakam, like it just opens the floor up for the rest of the Bulls to wreak havoc. So I actually like the Bulls to win this day. It's gonna be upset, but I actually like the.
As we see these injuries that had the Hawks are coming up, these other 2 guys, Jordan, I'm really liking. But Daniel Thesis, Daniel Thesis has been clutch from beyond the arc. He has added a huge spark off the bench, but also a huge finesse game in the post. And Troy, as my man Troy Brown, I'm saying it right? My man Troy Brown,
Yeah. Yep.
he attacks the rim. And so when you have guys off the bench that could come in and get 6 points, because I just don't want to go back to that point in time where we were relying on our MVPs to do so much when they don't have to. We want longevity results. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, basketball is all about soft tissue. I have a background in the medical field, but anyway, soft tissue. Like Zach has an ankle injury. Normally, that's 8 to 16 weeks. I mean, don't quote me on. I'm not saying I'm not an MD, but I'm just saying. But when we have these guys coming in scoring double digits off the bench, or when you have every single starter giving you double digits, that just makes a huge difference. My man Daniel's coming over. He's a tremendous presence, an absolute tremendous presence. He had 10 points against Brooklyn, but they were clutch. They were clutch points. It was 2-3. He was 2 for 3 behind the arc. That's a big deal. Also with 2 assists. And so you have guys off the bench that's coming in and giving you a quality 24 minutes. And 24 minutes giving you 10 points, Jordan. That's quality.
Absolutely.
That's quality. And so, as we're getting ready to wrap up real quick, because guys, we're gonna let you guys go early because the stampede is coming. The Bulls are about to tip off. They're about to tip off in 4 minutes. So we much rather you watch the Bulls and listen to us talk. And so as we get ready to wrap up, please make sure you check out our guys at Bulls 1-on-1. Those guys are putting out some awesome content, breaking down the way in a whole nother manner. And I wish we had more time. We actually got to have them on. That'd be a dope to have an awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are on another level, man. Like the show will never end. The show will never end, man. I'm excited about that. The network is cooking, bro. So it's just like this was awesome, guys, and definitely like look out for the Bulls. And honestly, guys, if you have time right now, DraftKings or FanDuel, I would definitely, put, Nikola and Zach LaVine in your lineups. I'm just putting it out there. LaVine and Nikola in your lineups. You're gonna have some fun tonight, man. But Gaines, what you got, man?
I mean, brother. I love rapid fire, man. Shout out to my man John Buffon. I watched my man John Buffon do the rapid fires for some time now, and so we wanted to get you guys ready for the stampede tonight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The Bulls come away with this win. I mean, like you said, I think we were 3-7 in our last 10. Let's try to keep this winning streak going as we're back in the East. And I want the coach. Let's show up in the fourth quarter. The reason why you said, and we're gonna let you guys go, that they were in those closer games because Jordan, the Bulls were winning in the fourth quarter a lot, and they gave up. And they gave up some games.
That's true.
Which shows they were still developing. And so who knows? Like when you find that stride, then all of a sudden, oh baby, and we got new teammates. You got new teammates that came to play. And so I see synergy because got all these assists and all these rebounds. Okay, but from the Barroom Network, from Game 6 and J.E. DeVandel, he's out there, student. He's a teacher out in Texas. Shout out to your brother. We know you're doing the right thing. And then from Barroom Network, we're gonna say so long. Be well, bear down, and go Bulls.
Most gracious.